Hi NoBugspert audience. I'm here today with Andres. He's spec lead of the JSR377 and he's Groovy and he likes a lot Groovy and he's very involved at the JCP and we are here at the JCP meeting and he's a reference for every Java developer and he's a Java champion as well. So he's the guy that has a lot to share with us, and we can learn a lot with them because he's a very high level. So he's a worldwide Java expert.
Thank you.
And we have the honor to talk to him today. So Andres, it's an honor to have you here
Thank
on
you, Rafael.
No Bugs project. And we would like to make you 3 simple questions. The first one, simple question, but not so easy to answer. Because, well, the first question is, what was the worst bug that you faced in your life?
Oh, wow. There have been a couple of those, but I will have to say something that happened 13 years ago. We wrote a system for taking charge of ticketing in a cinema. And we put it directly into production after, well, we had a few cinemas already running, everything was fine. And then we put it into the biggest cinema that the customer had. And we were not prepared for the load that we had. And the system kept crashing after 30 minutes. And we could not figure out for the life of us what was going on. And that happened for about a week. And the customer was not happy. But we eventually figured out a way to diagnose this thing, and I was running a profiler in production.
Cool.
And yeah, we were able to detect the problem. The other problem that we had is that we didn't give enough memory to the profiler, so the system came crashing down even faster. But we were able to detect that we have a deadlock with one race condition somewhere in the code. So once we knew exactly what was causing the problem, we were able to fix it, push our fix to production, and everything was happy. So the things that we learned is that you always have to be prepared for a race condition. It's better if you do code reviews and pair reviews, and if you can do pair programming, that gives you a lot of benefits. At the time we did development, everybody was working in their own feature, in their own silo, and we didn't use much of pair reviews or pair programming. So if we had that, then we could probably have avoided that race condition. And the second thing is that the best way to figure out if something is going wrong is production. You can have simulation environments, you can have test environments and acceptance testing and everything that you will. But if it's not the same thing as production, then you might not get to the real cause of the problem. And when you are doing diagnostics in production, make sure that the measuring tools do not interfere with what you want to measure. In my case, was that we didn't give enough memory to the profiler.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's a very complex problem to solve, and it's very difficult to diagnose it and to find out what happened because it's a very tricky error, right?
Yeah, in this case, it was caused by the load. So we had simulation frameworks. We got all the boundaries for this system were tested, and everything was fine. The thing that we did not expect was actually how many concurrent requests were coming at a certain specific period of time.
Mm-hmm. And how did you solve it? How did you find out it? And what were your tools to find it out? And what did you do?
Well, we use a profiler. I don't know if I'm able to say names because it's a commercial product.
It's
anyway,
okay.
So it's like I'm not gonna
No
make
problem.
so this was Y profiler, if I'm not mistaken. And with this particular tool, we were able to pinpoint exactly the piece of code that was causing the race condition. And the only thing that we needed to do was making sure that we were making proper use of threading constructs. This application, the one that had trouble, was both a desktop application based on Swing and a server-side application that I believe was using the Spring 1.2 at the time. Mm-hmm. So we had two problems. We had bad usage of the UI thread on the Swing version, on the Swing desktop application, and we also got a racing condition in a background thread working on the server side. But once we figured out those two things, then we fixed it, and then everything was ready. Production was happy, the customer was happy, and everybody was having a good time.
That's cool. Threads are very a very annoying problem because we have to just figure out what thread is occurring some problem, and well, it's really tough.
Yeah.
To solve it. And well, now that you told us about the worst bug and how did you solve it, could you leave a golden tip to No Bugs Project audience? What can you do to have a high quality software? What can you do to have the best code, the high quality code? Do you think it's more technical stuff, or it's more related to the team, or something that is happening in the environment of the work?
There are many things, the many variables at work here. Team-wise is definitely important. How you deal with your teammates, how we deal with the human aspect. Because, well, in my case, I am in software because I don't want to talk to people, even though we're hearing this interview. I'm really bad to talk to people, even though I believe I'm good talking to computers.
You're not. You're talking very good.
But the thing is that we prefer to stay with computers because we can tailor that thing, right? But dealing with the human aspect is difficult. So you have to take into account somehow. But I will say that my recommendation for people to try to hone their skills and to find a way where they can, well, not exactly make less mistakes, but you get a better experience is that if somehow they can get involved in an open source project. You could just start by submitting issues. That's the easiest way. You encounter a problem in an open source project that you're using, and then you simply fire up your browser and register a ticket in the issue tracker, and that's it. Just give enough information how to reproduce the problem. Maybe you get information about the environment, and you get started in a discussion with the other side. And perhaps you have the time, the inclination, the passion to submit a patch or submit a test case. So you don't actually have to start contributing code on the first day. It's just start engaged into a conversation. And it doesn't matter if you feel like you don't have enough skills to speak on the other side in English, on the other language that the other person might be speaking. Well, my natural language is Spanish, so I'm doing a terrible job of speaking English. But the thing is that just trying to get your point across, and just be aware that maybe some cultural differences, the other person might be asking you something in a way that you feel like a little bit threatening or weird. Just be sure that the other person might not be aware of what are your cultural background, right?
Yes.
So, and there might be some misunderstanding. So, and that's okay. That can happen. That's no problem. Just try to jump a little bit ahead of that, and then continue discussion going on. And eventually, maybe you would like to contribute some code, or maybe they ask you to contribute some code, and that keeps their ball rolling. And eventually, you find yourself, and that was my case 13 years ago. Now we're here in Winchester, very far away from Mexico, where I come from, and we're talking about this particular subject, and that is just because open source.
Yes, and one big thing about contributing to open source is that you can learn from the very best in the world, and you can just see how they code, and you can learn patterns. As you are contributing, you are automatically learn from the open source.
It is a two-way street. You learn from them, and you can also teach them a few things. And that is incredible. And again, for people like us that try to just stay hidden behind the computer, behind the screen, it's a different kind of interaction that you can get. And we can use the code as the lingua franca, so that's how we can get into an understanding.
Mm-hmm. So I have to thank you for the golden tips you could leave to No Bugs Project audience. And it's really powerful to contribute to open source because you can improve your skills a lot. So, and you can learn from the very best in the world, and you can learn how to interact with people. And how Andres told us, it's difficult sometimes to deal with people with different cultures. They may talk something to you that you may feel that it's an offense, but it's not sometimes, because it's another culture. So you have to understand and adapt to those situations. And it's difficult to deal with another people, but we have to learn. In our area is very tricky. We just think, oh, it's an area that we don't have to deal with people, but we have to deal with people all the time, because we work in a team. In every work as a software developer, you are working in a team. So we have to learn those kind of stuff as well, because it impacts in the quality of our code, as Andres told us. And keep that in mind, and contribute to open source projects so that you can improve your coding skills and your social skills. So it's very powerful.
Yeah, surprisingly, most open source, well, not exactly open source projects, any kind of software project runs into problems, not because of the code itself. Fixing code is the easy spot. Finding bugs and resolving bugs, that is that simple. The most problematic aspect of software is dealing with the human aspect. We have to understand the other side. And sometimes we might be a toxic person, we're behaving in a toxic way, and we don't even realize. So we have to be aware that sometimes we are the problem, and sometimes it's at the other side. But in any way, we have to figure out, when we're working in a team, how to get the point across and how to deal with the social aspects. It's the most important crucial thing in software. Again, in code, it doesn't matter the language. You can tell the computer to do something and it will do it.
Yes. So you are hearing from Andres. So it is a really tough thing for us to deal with. And well, we have to learn it. There's no other way. Have to learn. to be a really good software developer, it's even funny, because we think, oh, it's just code, but it's not. It's not just code. You have to learn other things as well.
Yeah.
So and it's a very tough thing, how to deal with people.
Exactly.
So Andres, I really appreciate your presence on Bugs Project audience, and I'm sure that you could really leave golden knowledge to all the No Bugs Project audience, and I'm thankful for your presence here.
Thank you very much, Rafael. And everybody else, if you're inclined to follow me contact me on Twitter, Almiray. I'm always open for feedback. I continue to learn, and as I said, it's a two-way street. I can learn from you as well as I hope that you can learn from me.
Exactly. So follow him, because he's a reference, and you as a Java developer have to follow him, because he has a lot of golden knowledge to share with us. So I'm going to share his Twitter on the description of this video, and thank you very much for watching this video, and I'm sure that the knowledge from Andres will help you a lot on your software developer career. So thank you. See you.
See ya.